Hey, my loves, it's Kaylin Rose, and I'm back with a couple verses of the day. And so we still on the book of James this whole week. And so we're gonna start James 1, verses 12 through 17. And it goes, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. When tempted, no one should say, 'God is tempting me.'" God don't tempt people. The devil only does that. "For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. Sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Do not be deceived, my dear brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows." The main two parts of this text, which is trials and temptation. First, we're going to start off with the trials, which is similar to what I talked about with patience and suffering. So your trial, you're gonna suffer during your trial, because God wants to see, what are you in this for? Whatever you're doing, are you in it for the long run, or are you in it because it's the newest trend? So whoever stands the test, the trial, fighting for what you truly want out of life, you receive the crown of life, and God has promised that to those who love him. If you're going through hard times, consider yourself blessed, because you know that God has promised you to win in the end. If God didn't give you this promise, then you don't know what you're fighting for. And so this goes to the next section, which is temptation. God does not tempt us. And I relate this message to, for example, when I'm fasting, God cannot tempt me with someone finding my DMs, because I have no desire for that. That's an easy no. But when it comes to food, I could be sometimes catch myself, "Ooh, God is tempting me because I'm supposed to be fasting, and here comes in my stepdad with a whole bunch of food from Papacitos or something," and I'm like, my stomach is like. So God is saying, do not say, if you're married, for example, that God is tempting you when a egg model slides into your DMs and is throwing themselves at you. If you give in to cheating or anything like that, God is saying, that's not me. That's what's in your heart. Your heart desires someone else's body other than your wife's. Your heart desires that food. Your heart desires to lie. Your heart desires to cheat or steal. God ain't tempting you to do that. When you have, for example, you go in the store and you're like, no one's watching, I could possibly steal all this stuff that's right here. God is not the one tempting you to do that. That's what your heart has in it. Because if your heart didn't even want to do something like that, you wouldn't even see the situation like that. So God is relaying the message that when being tempted, just know that's your inner heart's desire. If I'm ever tempted if I'm tempted by something, it's because in my heart, that's something I kind of want. See, you also can relate this to if you have a past person trying to come back. If you might consider taking them back if in your heart that's kind of what you really want. But if you know you way past the level that you were on when you wanted them, then in your heart you're like, oh, I could care less that they're texting or calling me. So God is saying that when you have a desire for something, it can give birth to sin, which can entice you into the wrong direction. You're being led away from what you truly want, because this is the last part of the message, that every perfect gift comes from above. If God sent it to you, if God sent a woman or a man your way, you wouldn't know it was from him, because all his gifts are perfect and heavenly. They won't try to destroy you. They won't mock you. They won't belittle you. They won't manipulate you. They won't be perfect, but you will know the spirit or the person by their fruit. You will know it's sent from God, because they have those kind of characteristics. They're not a deceitful person. They're not a wolf in sheep clothing. And that's with anything, the job God has for you, the finances, nothing that God gives to you can be taken away from the world because the world didn't give it. God gave you that gift. Even with your talents. If God gave me the ability to speak and start a YouTube channel, nobody could take that away from me. If God gave me the ability to run a business, then no one can take that from me because He gave it to me. I didn't insert myself into this. So God is saying He does not change like people. Shifting shadows, that means people are fickle. People change. One day they love you, and the next day when they see that you're actually trying to do better and level up in life, they start to feel some type of way. They start to feel intimidated. They start to feel inferior. They start to make up lies in their head that you think you all that. So God is saying He don't change like people. People get uncomfortable with growth and elevation. That's just the bottom line. Everybody doesn't accept it. God's like, He doesn't reject you when you want to be yourself. God doesn't change. He's the same today, tomorrow, and yesterday. He's saying whatever He promised you is still going to come to pass in its season. God does not change. A person can tell you, oh yeah, I got your back. I'll loan you that $5, and tomorrow he ain't got it. That's shifting shadows, change. You switched up on me. God doesn't switch, is what He's trying to relate to us. And the gifts and people He send our way, they're from Him. So they're not gonna shift. They're not gonna shift. They may fall short, but they're not a shifting shadow like deceitful people. So I love you guys, and I hope you guys understand that you get the crown and glory from God when you stand firm under trial and under test, because the journey is not going to be perfect. The journey is to mold you into who you were always created to be, and get all the evilness, the unfriendliness, to get all the insecurities out of you. So I just hope you guys understand that you will receive your promise from God. And consider it pure joy when you're under test and trials. Bye.